What is the European Union's plan for Ambazonia? Are they heading towards a possible referendum? I want us to examine, or I want us to dive into the recent outing of the European Union on the Ambazonian struggle for independence. You can call it the crisis in the Cameroons. However, now, ladies and gentlemen, you are once more welcome to the platform. My name is Fabiano Deco, Ambazonian and human rights activist and a self-defense advocate. In the early days of December 2023, this month, of course, we've seen a couple of outings, a couple of statements being made by officials in the European Union, decrying the abandonment of a long crisis. That is a crisis that is over, 7 years, going to the 8th year. And they are saying that these people have long been abandoned. It's high time they do something to these particular people or this particular part of the world. Recently, yes, we've heard that. I want to play some few excerpts from the European Union. And when I'll play these excerpts, I want you to critically look into, I want you to take your time. I want to take your time. And because this time we are talking about a possible intervention. Is the European Union planning, or is the European Union looking towards a possible referendum for the people of Southern Cameroon? Are they looking towards that? What is their agenda? What do they have to offer? What is their own proposition? What is their own tangible action towards a permanent, peaceful political solution to the Southern Cameroon's question? It is my question for you this particular time, but I want you to watch this video and to get an insight of what I am here to present to you this time around. I'll be right back. Just a moment.
Let me give the floor to the next speaker, author Madame Arana, s'il vous plaît.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Au Cameroun, après le référendum constitutionnel de 1972, le système du gouvernement fédéraliste garantissant la représentation des 20% d'anglophones a été abandonné au profit d'un système centralisé qui donne l'avantage aux francophones. Depuis, les anglophones au Cameroun souffrent d'une marginalisation accrue qui n'a fait que s'empirer. En 2016, les enseignants et avocats de la région du sud-ouest et nord-ouest anglophones se mettent en grève car ils estiment que le gouvernement majoritairement francophone tente de réduire le système de common law et l'enseignement pratiqué en anglais dans ces régions. La réaction du gouvernement Biya est sans appel, une réponse militaire dure qui fait émerger les mouvements séparatistes et manifestations violentes. S'enclenche alors une spirale violente entre le gouvernement sourd à des revendications légitimes et s'engageant à détruire tous ceux qui veulent diviser la nation, et une radicalisation des mouvements séparatistes anglophones qui s'arment contre le pouvoir francophone de Yaoundé et qui répriment tous ceux qui afficheraient une non-affiliation à leur cause. Les victimes, comme toujours, la population civile massacrée, 3000 morts, privée d'écoles, obligée de fuir, plus d'1 million de déplacés aujourd'hui au Cameroun. Actuellement, ce gouvernement Biya refuse toujours de prendre en compte les demandes d'éléments modérés pour un retour au fédéralisme qui accorderait aux régions une plus grande autonomie. Et les séparatistes, par ailleurs divisés, campent sur leur demande d'indépendance. Nous avons aujourd'hui un certain nombre de revendications. Nous demandons une aide humanitaire. Nous demandons également qu'un dialogue puisse s'établir et nous demandons que le service d'action extérieure aide à aller dans ce sens. Merci.
Merci. Let me invite next speaker, author Mr. Andrews. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President, Commissioner, colleagues. 2 weeks ago, 7-year-old Brandy Tatau was shot and killed by a police officer while walking home from school in Bamenda, a city in northwest Cameroon. Brandy is just one of thousands of young girls who are the utterly innocent victims of the armed conflict in Cameroon over the past 5 years. The forced schools boycott in the Anglophone regions has exposed children to child recruitment by terrorist organisations, forced labour, forced childhood marriage and sexual abuse. Children make up 28% of all cases of gender-based violence in Cameroon, and 13% of girls are married before the age of 15. Today we mark the International Day of Violence Against Women, The case of Cameroon reminds us that women and young girls continue to be systematically used as pawns in power struggles across the world. Of course, in order to protect women and girls in Cameroon, we need an immediate ceasefire and for both sides to initiate peace talks without further delay. First and foremost, we must protect life. But the only surefire way to ensure that the human rights of women, girls and others are upheld in Cameroon is to have effective legal safeguards. And that is why Renew insisted on strong emphasis on the rule of law in this urgency resolution. To protect human rights, you need functioning courts, robust, proportionate laws and international recourse. This is the responsibility of the Cameroon government, and it is also the European Union's responsibility as strategic partners of Cameroon to exert the necessary pressure to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me invite next speaker, author Mr. Corrao. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioner and colleagues. As you know, Cameroon is beset with two violent conflicts and went from peaceful protests to war. The escalation of violence has led to a number of simultaneous political and security challenges and to a high level of instability, which the people of Cameroon are now facing. This is very deplorable and frustrating. Armed groups and the government force committed widespread human rights abuses, including extrajudicial or summary execution and mass killings. This has resulted in 80% of schools in the two Anglophone regions being closed or destroyed, and 700,000 students are denied education. We also see that ethnic tensions are rising, with political speech turned into hate speech based on ethnicity and gender discrimination, which is taking place in an atmosphere of terror in the region, including targeted attacks on students, teachers, but also journalists and humanitarian workers. All this is very concerning, and the European Union needs to respond strongly. It is no longer possible to ignore this conflict, and the situation is increasingly deteriorating. We need to mediate for an immediate ceasefire, calling on both sides to the conflict to cease purposefully targeting civilians, schools and children, which deprives them of the right to education. It is also time that we make use of all the financial instruments provided by development aid or other programs as a political leverage, using them to enhance the defense of human rights in a country that is suffering since too long. Thank you.
It's an undeniable reality that the international community knows exactly what is happening in this part of the world. The international community is aware of the fact that the people of Southern Cameroon are fighting for survival. They know fully well the history of these people in this part of the world. Oh yes, it is no doubt they can never call us terrorists. It's no doubt they know that these people have the right to fight for their survival. It's a right to fight, and it's enshrined. You know, it's an inalienable right, the rights that they were born with. That is exactly what is being stated. Now, we've heard a couple of those speakers, they've talked, and citing our history, we came together as an equal party, but later on, it was being submerged in a singular purpose to clamp down on us in favor of the majority Francophone population. Of course, in 1972, 20th May of 1972, Paul Biya, in his referendum, he organized his referendum with a singular purpose. Ahidjo and France, guided by France, by then Paul Biya was in the government, of course, of the Republic of Cameroon. They organized a referendum, claiming dissolving the federal system of government in favor of a unitary system. And this unitary system could only favor the majority Francophone population. Favor a unitary centralized system of government. And that went a long way to clamp down. That went a long way to marginalize the people of former British Southern Cameroon. This is exactly the agenda. And not long from that, it is almost 50 years ago, we are in this same mess. And yes, the European Union is aware of this because this thing was being done by the UK and France and the United Nations. it is no news that they know about what is happening in Southern Cameroon, and they know the aspirations of the people. Now, my question is the European Union planning towards a possible referendum for the people of Southern Cameroon? Are they planning towards a genuine referendum for the people of Southern Cameroon? That is the question. However, a lot of people, political pundits, have put it on question, on table, because officials of La République du Cameroon government, they will always claim that there is no problem. For example, Atanga Njipo will tell you there is no Anglophone problem. There is no issue. Everything is okay. It's part of Cameroon, blah, blah, blah. Cameroon is one and indivisible. We've heard that from Laurent Esso. We've heard that from Jacques Fame Dongo. We've heard that from a couple of them. But the question remains, what is the European Union's position towards a permanent political solution to the crisis in the Cameroons? Cameroon is two. They know this. La République du Cameroon gained her independence on the 1st of January 1960. Southern Cameroon gained her independence on the 1st of October 1961. With the organization of a referendum in 1972, there was a closure or a termination of a federal system to a unitary system that favored Yaoundé over Boya. And that's why we are here today. Is the European Union planning for a possible referendum for the people of Southern Cameroon? Some people say there are three groups of persons. Of course, three groups of people. The first group of people, or the first school of thought, they have it that Cameroon remains one and indivisible. Despite the centralized system, they believe in decentralization. Okay. The second group of thought, they say they want to go back to a federal system of government that was as before 1972. They prefer a federal system of government. Okay. Second group of thought. The third group of people, they are the people who believe in their destiny, taking their destinies in their own hands. Independence for Southern Cameroon. What is going to be the European Union's approach towards a permanent political solution? It will only be another referendum for the people of Southern Cameroon to decide their destiny, to decide how they want to be governed, to decide how they want their land to go. The mistake that was made in 1961 should not repeat itself. No matter how you go to the table to solve one of these problems, you will favor just one school of thought. If you think you can go back to decentralization to talk about a one and indivisible Cameroon, you have not solved the problem. If you think that you can go to the table to talk about federal system, it should go back the way it was after 1961, you have not solved the problem. If you think you just say, okay, take independence. We know no country has been given independence outrightly. So that's not possible. We have to be real in this case. I'm sorry, my Ambazonian brothers. No country has been given independence outrightly. You have to fight for it. It's true. I cannot lie to you. It's true. It's the fact. So how do we get a common ground? You know, I want to use my platform to make my brothers and sisters understand how things are being handled, how to get a common ground between these three schools of thoughts. How do we get a common ground? People who believe in one and indivisible Cameroon, people who believe in a federal Cameroon, people who believe in an independent Ambazonian or Southern Cameroon. How do you get a common ground? The people will decide. It is the people who will decide. And how will they decide? In a referendum. That is it. And that is the only way the dialogue will come in place. Now, how will this happen? It will only be under the auspices. The United Nations, the African Union, to send a fact-finding mission. They should call a ceasefire in Southern Cameroon, so that they can investigate the perpetrators of human rights abuses, investigate to get all the culprits, perpetrators brought to book, and address the root cause of the problem. And that is where the dialogue comes in. The dialogue will only end when these three schools of thought have gotten a common ground. And that common ground is only in an election. That election is going to be a referendum. The question remains, is the European Union heading towards this direction? My name is Fabiano Deco, Ambazonian and human rights activist and a self-defense advocate. Thank you very much and have a nice day.